There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome back to the C Word and Orphan Black Echoes podcast on the Fangirl Zone. I am Shawn Fangirl S.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Kim.
And I'm back again.
Yay!
Yay!
Woo! Missed you!
Today we are talking about Season 1, Episode 6, Unless You Trusted Someone, written by Anna Fishko, John Fawcett, and Graham Manson, and directed by Ingrid Jungerman. And I wish I could tell you I brought back information, but unfortunately, San Diego Comic-Con did not have anything about the C Word. So I'm hoping that, or I'm sorry, not about the C Word, about Orphan Black, but I am hoping that that doesn't mean anything because a lot of places were missing, so.
Tears.
Ooh. So unfortunately, friends, I don't have anything about a possible Season 2, but we're going to still hold out hope.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Episode 6 recap and discussion. After being kidnapped and taken to a mysterious compound, Jules attempts to escape captivity with the help of an unusual new friend, while Lucy and Kira chase down a lead looking to uncover how Jules was created.
All right, so let's get started. We start kind of where we ended. Kira's calling Josh, who, she wants to know if Josh went ahead and rebuilt this machine, since Josh was the only other person that knew what it took, knew that they needed a lens. So she does call Josh. He's evasive, and she just figures that he remade the machine. Meanwhile, Neva learns the truth and promises to help Jules, but James, her husband, calls Pam, and oh my God, so they're getting a divorce. Anyway, she and Darrow's security pretend to be Child Protective Services, and they take Jules away.
Do you think that he was in on it the whole time?
I don't know. I think so. Well, because the thing is, like I said before, back in the beginning, where he was like, I don't know if I could ever call her my kid, but I felt like I'm like, why would you say that? Like, if he feels that way about the boy he adopted, like it's not an adoption thing. So it sounded to me like he knew what she was. But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't.
I don't know. It seems sketchy to me.
Yeah, me too. Like, and if he does know, that would be the reason why he called. I don't know. So, all right. Kira heads home to find Eleanor back from a work trip, and I'm like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Wait, I'm like, I looked down for 2 seconds, like I blinked. I had something in my eye, and I was like, I clearly missed a 2 months ago or something like that. But,
oh my God, I was thinking the same thing because I'm like, wait, what just happened? Are we going back in time? Okay.
Right.
Turns out, after a month of Lucy running away, Josh explains to Kira that they can print Eleanor to the version 2 years before her Alzheimer's, since they have a clear CT scan, which should retain her memories. It's a high enough resolution that it should retain these memories. And there's a new drug trial that should be able to help her delay the Alzheimer's. So Kira can find a cure for it, but Kira is hesitant to do so for many reasons. But I guess she did, and pricked her successfully. So that was.
Does this make anybody else not want to get a CT scan of her?
Yeah.
Right. Like I just feel like, yeah, it's kind of Lucas. This whole family dynamic is just kind of, whew. Anyway, at present, Kira's glad to see her, and she tries to kiss her, but Eleanor pushes her away. Kira's distracted by Lucy's plan to find Josh, and she doesn't think much of it, which is like, what?
Yeah, that's not good. Meanwhile, Darrow takes Jules to his farm and reveals that he printed her. He refuses to tell her anything else or allow into the locked room in front of her. But he claims that she is free to go, and she runs out of the HQ. She isn't able to get too far as there are sonic barriers all over the farm.
I thought it was something like that he put in her head.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that right away either until they explained it.
Yep. A worker, Xander, comes across her and offers to help her. As they make their way back to HQ, they chat about Darrow's foundations and their interest in plants. She begs him to help her disable the sonic barrier, and he gives in. They find the clicker and make their way out to the nearest barrier.
Lucy and Kira make their way to the nearest vet hospital. Well, it's the vet hospital that Kira knew that Josh went to. And they luckily find Josh's records, which I'm like, that's kind of weird. I guess that's medical records for a person, so there's no HIPAA or anything, but whatever. However, the address he has is a P.O. box, and Lucy enlists Jack's help. Kira rushes home as it's time for Eleanor's medicine, but she is kind of giving to her secretly, which, again, this is, I don't know. Everything's questionable here.
Yes.
She is basically, well, you assume that she's putting it in her tea because she's very forceful about, like, here, Eleanor, have this tea.
Yep.
Even though she doesn't really want it. And she's drinking out of the orange juice bottle, and I'm like, what are you doing? Pour that into a glass.
Oh my God,
anyway.
that was driving me crazy.
Yep.
The awkward tension continues during dinner when Lucas shows up with his girlfriend, who's is she Quaker? Did they say that? I don't know if she's something like very religious, right?
Right.
I can't remember what they said, but I guess that's what it is.
I feel like this is a very different version of Quakers because I thought
Quakers
me too. Were very Amish-like.
Yes.
Yes, me
but
too.
Maybe in the future everything's different.
Yep.
Her name is Rana. Kira is curt about how she's curt. That's a
nice way to say it.
Yeah, she is, well, she doesn't believe in God. She makes that known. And you know what? Lucas's girlfriend is really laid back and easygoing, and she's just like, I'm just happy to be here. And she tries to ease things, but Eleanor's like, no, Kira's acting like a brat. And she needs to stop. And
I couldn't figure out why she was lashing out at the girlfriend so much.
Me either.
Like her own guilt or something?
I'm not sure either. Like, why would you do that to your kid, you know? But, yeah, she did not hide her feelings. Anyway, as the couple turn in for the night, Kira spots Eleanor getting texts from her mistress, like, that was fun last night. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I can't wait to touch you again. Whoa.
See how fast that phone goes across the room and smashes into the wall. She asked Eleanor, but is surprisingly calm. And I'm like, no. As long as Eleanor is happy, Kira's happy. And Eleanor's like, what is happening? She points out that Kira is like, I don't know. She's kind of like apathetic and like distanced, and like she's not even angry, which is not normal, and she can't understand why she's acting this way. And Kira, of course, is having flashbacks of like Eleanor dying, right? And getting her back. So you can kind of understand why Kira feels that way, but also I would have thrown the phone across the room and it smashed into a million pieces and I would have started yelling. Cause I'm like that. Kira claims that she, has changed. It's not Eleanor, it's her, and she heads into the living room with a pillow.
Yeah, sleeping on the couch.
I don't know. That whole thing, it just felt very strange because, okay, Kira, you love her greatly because you brought her back from the dead, essentially. Maybe show a little bit more emotion.
Right.
I'm just confused about the time period, right? Like, how long before she printed her and what we're seeing now? Because obviously, like, she's gone back to work, which how did nobody know? Because she just said she just got back from like a conference or something. I was like, how does nobody know that she was gone?
Yeah.
Did they not have a funeral or anything? Like, nobody seems to know this.
I'm guessing they did not have a funeral because, like, everybody would at least know something's up. So what did they do with the body? They burn it up?
Right. And, like, why? What is the time frame? Because they seem to be okay prior to her passing. Well, she didn't really remember anything, and all of a sudden they're not. Like, it's just weird.
Right. And now it's like, how long has that affair been going on?
Right.
So was it something before, like, she had got hit with the dementia or what? And then that's really weird.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Xander and Jules try to deactivate the sonic barrier, but it fails. I thought something was interesting when they were in the office looking for the little, I don't know, sonic boom kind of thing.
The clicker.
And Jules seen that little thing on the wall and she goes to press it. It reminded me of like a Tamagotchi. But Xander's like, don't touch that. Like, what would that have revealed? Why was he drawn to it? Right? But I love it. When the barrier doesn't fall, he believes that it's a sign that she should stay and help contribute to humanity. Excuse me? Like, at that point, I'm sorry. I'm shocked she didn't lay his ass out. I'm just throwing that out there. And, of course, she yells at him to leave her alone and cries in a field. And he does. He actually just pulls off. I mean, at this point, like, I get it. Because what are you going to say? Because she's screaming at you and you don't know her. But you're like, all right, deuces, here's the flashlight.
Yeah.
Figure it out. If you were trying to be so secretive about her that you covered her up in the back of that little garden cart, wouldn't you be like, when you're ready, I'll take you somewhere? I don't know. I'll be like, bye. But after a little while, which we don't know how long, she begrudgingly heads back to the headquarters. And what the hell?
Yeah.
Because we hear singing, and turns out it's Xander in his room. And we come across him memorizing Daros' memories. Because it turns out that he is, in fact, a printout of Daros. Now, I thought that when all of a sudden, oh, look, there's this kid who comes and rescues her. Yeah. But I'm like, no, that's too much of a stretch.
Right.
Well, guess not.
Yeah.
Because Daros wanted to extend his legacy. Because obviously nobody would understand that he died. What? Jules confronts him and he apologizes for misleading her. What? What? I don't think so. But Daros wanted him to gain her trust. Oh, sure, this is going to make it so much better now.
Right.
I'm sure she'll totally talk to you, Daros, and not freeze out Xander anymore. That was the perfect plan. He reveals Daros owns both of them, and there's nowhere for them to go. Again, what? What? She storms off and finally breaks into the locked room. She comes across Eleanor's file and is shocked. Is she, though? I feel like somewhere she knew.
Yeah.
Like deep down, there was something. But elsewhere, Jack gets Josh's address and Lucy passes it on to Kira as she decides to check in on Jules after being unable to get a hold of her all day. Kira barges into Josh's house and finds him frantically packing and trying to escape before Daros gets him. As she goes on about the ethics of letting a billionaire like Daros get his hand on the machine, yada yada, Josh breaks down with his pile of money as he's wiping his tears, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a literal pile of money. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I
Yeah.
could take a
Our
couple
old
of those,
Josh wouldn't have done that.
right? Hey Josh, how about you let me take that money off your hands? It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But he apologizes for everything and shares that he looked up to her. And then there's a gun and she's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And she starts backing away going, no, don't do this. We can figure something out. No, we can't. And then he shoots himself, which, what? I was not expecting that part.
No.
Or honestly, at least saying something like, take care of my cat. I don't know, something. Because he's just like, boom, I'm gone. So apparently there was a hell of a lot more guilt. And I'm thinking he knows a whole lot more than he actually said before.
Yes,
he
absolutely.
was gone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, we do have some feedback this week. We have written feedback from Simone. Hi, C-Word. Okay, let's start with feedback for Do I Know You? Firstly, and I know you all said it, I want to praise Christian, August, Keely, and Rhea for seamlessly telling that 20-year-old love story. Secondly, Fred had you sorted on locations from original Orphan Black, so I will be the one to sort you on the story. In the original Orphan Black, we learned the maggot bot gene therapy that Leakey had implanted was to prevent Alzheimer's. Not that it mattered in the end because Donnie blew his brains out. And because apparently Alzheimer's wasn't enough, Eleanor also had fertility issues, polyps in her uterus. And as we're all aware, the OG clones, save for Sarah and Helena, a.k.a. the Miracle Twins, were dying due to the reproductive problems they had. Anyways, on to feedback for Unless You Trusted Someone. Surprise! Kara managed to print the correct version of Eleanor a month after Lucy ran away back in 2050. I'll be honest, they got me good with that reveal when I watched it the first time. And because Kara is changed from the loss of original Eleanor, this version of Eleanor felt smothered and found comfort elsewhere. Well, I don't know if it's comfort, if it's a mistress, but who knows. Now we know Lucas's bio dad's name is Derek and that he was intelligent and the least horrible man they knew. Let's all thank Derek for making our sex silly science girlies parents. I have a feeling this will have been noticed by one or more of you, but I lost my shit when I saw it on Daros's device, so I'm going to mention Casima's golden ratio tattoo, the shell, is on one of the symbols. And let's all pray that Jennifer found a new home with someone who isn't as unhinged as Josh turned out to be. Because holy hell, what a waste of a 20-plus year friendship, and all for money that was supposedly going to make him feel happy. From Simone.
Well, isn't that always the way? Like, oh, I'm going to sell my soul for happiness. Well, doesn't always work out that way, does it?
No.
And it was a lot of money. I mean, he had that house and a bunch in cash.
That was a big-ass house, those cars, who knows what else.
Yeah. And as always, we have audio feedback from our friend from Fred from the Netherlands. So let's hear what he thought.
Hello, Steve, Terry, Shawn, and Kim, and all listeners to the C-Word/the Fangirl Zone. This is Fred from the Netherlands with some feedback for Orphan Black Echoes Season 1, Episode 6. I, of course, last week reported that the house where Eleanor walked by several times with the birthday balloon in front of it attached to a tree is the same house in real life as that was used in the original series as Cosima's student house. And the big question if this is all planned, because we see Cosima's student house in episode 5 of season 1. We see the inside of it. Well, that's probably studio setting. But in that episode, that is the beginning of episode 6, we also see the sign of the Minnesota University. And I discussed this on Facebook with some people of the Orphan Black Clone Club page. And one of the people there, Greg Turner, he just said, yeah, these are all just ruse locations. Compare it, for instance, to the so-called Birdwatcher's house in the original series, which was exactly the same house as the house of P.T. Westmoreland in the last season. And that's of course true. They used the same house twice with a complete different setting. And perhaps that's true here as well. And this Greg Turner wrote then whether this could be then Minneapolis, St. Paul or something like that, or Boston. And he says, yeah, there are a lot of indications that this series really plays in Boston. The skyline when Lucy runs out of the facility where she was printed in the first episode of Orphan Black Echoes is Boston. It even says that above one of the buildings. And if Eleanor lived in Boston as a child, was taught in Boston, and met Kira in Boston, and Kira set up her lab in Boston, it makes sense that they lived there rather than moving to Minnesota. And I think he's right. So possibly this house is just used twice without any real meaning, indicating that it was the same campus as where Cosima studied. So that was one of the options you mentioned, Steve, that they just used the same location and did forget about it. Didn't realize it really that they had used it before. Or as you said, Terry, there is a kind of list where you may film and they use it again and again. But then I would be critical because then I find it a weak thing. And I mean, John Fawcett was involved in the original series as well as in this one. So then I think it's worth a real nitpick. And I have to say, if they didn't show us the sign of the Minnesota University in the original series, it really could fit. Then it all would be, for instance, the Boston University campus. Nevertheless, it is the same house, and nevertheless, the library in the back is the library where the scene with Delphine was filmed. Okay, enough about this. Let's go into episode 6. First question. When they take Jules from Neva-Lee, they say that they have a court order to take her. I really wonder if that's true or just a ruse. Later, Jules accuses Paul Deros that he sent his fake cops to kidnap her. So probably the whole arrest or taking Jules is indeed fake, including the court order. We of course still don't know why Paul Deros printed Jules. First I thought as a kind of tryout for Xander, his own copy. But Xander says that he already works there for a few years. So I get the impression that Xander is an older print than Jules. I can fully understand that with her weird behavior, Kira pushed indeed Eleanor away in their relationship. And she's right when she says, I'm changed. She is so worried about Eleanor, wants to take her meds, and is so incredible afraid of seeing the Alzheimer's develop again. I really wonder at this point how she is ever going to fix it with Eleanor. Because when she is going to explain what happened, that will give a reaction from Eleanor as well, of Kira being not truthful to her for quite a while. Of course I know what's going to happen, but this is really the question you could ask yourself at this point in the series. Okay, that will be all for now. Of course, I can't really make predictions, so greetings, all the best, Fred from the Netherlands.
Well,
Okay, Fred.
Oh.
I was going to say you have a point with the houses being reused, but they got to know, with as big as the fandom is, people are going to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
People are going to compare. Come on.
Yeah, I got to agree there. But yes, I do think that they knew that they were reusing locations. Just because it's familiar. They know what they're getting out of it. So
True. I don't think that Xander was printed out early. I think he was after, oh my God, why did I blink on her name?
Jules.
Our girl. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if the whole thing was a ruse anyway, I think it was just, a way for him to gain her trust.
Yeah,
It could be like he printed her for, I don't know why he would have chosen her, but maybe he printed her first to see if it would work, like a younger version, and before doing it for himself. That's the only thing I can think of, because I don't know why her specifically, but he doesn't seem to want to say.
I think it's sort of because the fixed Eleanor, of course, came after Lucy. Once that worked, Darrow says, okay, I want to have me done. And so he gets a younger version of him and says, oh, well, let's give him somebody he can associate with, and then did Jules.
I was thinking, something like that. Like he had I don't want to say a crush. That sounds so bad, but basically had a crush on her when she was younger. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to set it up so I can have her in the next life kind of thing.
Right.
That's so weird.
Which is so messed
but he's not all there. He's reminding me more and more of Leaky every day.
Yeah, he does seem very strange with that.
How old is Darrow? Is he supposed to be the same age as like Kira? Or is he supposed to be older? Like, I can't figure that out.
I think he is a little older. Orientals age very gracefully. So even though they kind of look like the same age, I think he's actually probably 10, 15 years older.
Well,
I thought it was weird because she was in school.
Right.
And it was, Darrow's company wants you to, they really like your work. And it's like, okay. And she doesn't go to them until, much later.
Right.
See, okay. Here's the thing. And I know this can't be it because I'm looking at him and then I'm looking at Lucy, right? But they mentioned her father for a reason and we still don't know who her father is. And I'm just like, he's not old enough, I don't think. And they don't look alike, but maybe they know each other or something. I'm not sure.
But he did say, that's your favorite color in your room. So that was weird.
Yes, I know. And I'm like, but it can't be because they don't look alike. And I think he's not that, I don't think he's old enough, but maybe, I don't know, that's not him. Like the original version of him, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Maybe he's a clone that was, not supposed to happen.
I don't know. It's just weird, but cause they did they made it a point to tell you that, when, Eleanor's mother had that outburst about her father, they made it a point to do that. There's a reason why. So I don't know.
Never see pictures of him, so.
No, there's that too.
Oh, that'd be so weird too.
Yeah, it really would be. And I'm like, somebody's got to explain to me the timeline. You have got to explain the timeline to me because it's not making sense.
Get the murder board out and all the yarn.
Yep.
Oh, my bad. All right. So, we'd love to hear your thoughts on each and every episode this season. Our deadline for feedback is 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday during the season. You can send your feedback, via email or audio to contact us at fangirlzone.com. Reviews, you guys, please review and rate us on iTunes and any other platforms you use you use to listen to your podcast with good ratings and reviews. It helps fans find us. And there's plenty of other Orphan Black Echoes podcasts out there, so please help point them in this direction. Tell your friends. Hope you're enjoying the podcast, and don't forget to check out all the other great Fangirl Zone podcasts we have.
We have a lot. You can find them over at www.fangirlzone.com, along with our Meet the Teams page that shows how to get a hold of us. Oh, Kim, we need to put you back up there. I don't have you in there yet. So until then, you can send the email that you want to send to Kim over to us, and we'll make sure Kim gets it. Because you have to see Kim's beautiful face. But for this episode of the Orphan Black Echoes podcast called The C Word,
I'm Steve. Our Lucas is bringing home a girl he's known for a week. Sounds like he's finally going to get laid.
I'm Kim. I would have smashed that phone across the wall.
oh my gosh, and I'm Shawn Fangirl S. And until next time.